Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some major weather developments that are shaping up across North America. We've got the Siberian Express on the way, bringing a rare blast of frigid air straight from Siberia to parts of the US, including the lower 48 states. This system could lead to extreme cold and set the stage for a significant winter storm as we head into next week. I'm going to break everything down for you, what's happening now, what to expect over the coming days, and how to prepare. Let's jump right in. So let's set the scene with what's been going on lately. If you live in the eastern US, you've probably noticed it's been colder than usual. Temperature anomalies here have been trending below average, while the western third of the country has been slightly above normal. When we look at precipitation patterns since the start of the year, it's been particularly wet in some regions, especially Montana, while areas across the plains and the Ohio Valley have also seen a fair share of precipitation. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now, a lot of this moisture has been tied to our snow patterns. The primary snow track has been running consistently from the central and southern plains through the Ohio Valley and into the interior Northeast and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. However, areas like the Midwest, the Deep South, and especially the Southeast have largely missed out on snowfall so far this season. That could start to shift soon, but it's worth noting how localized and inconsistent the snowfall has been up to this point. If you're one of those snow lovers who feel like you've been left out, stick around because the forecast has some exciting potential. Let's talk about what's happening over the next 24 hours. Right now, we've got a ridge of high pressure setting up over the heartland of the US. This system is going to bring some much needed warmth to the region, especially for areas like the upper Midwest. For example, tomorrow morning, Friday, January 17th, you're looking at lows in the upper 20s to low 30s. That might sound chilly, but it's a big improvement compared to the bitterly cold mornings we've had recently. Cities like the Twin Cities, Omaha, and St. Louis will all hover around or just below freezing to start the day. By the afternoon, temperatures will climb significantly, bringing some relief to those of you in the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. Highs will hit the mid-40s in spots like Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and Nebraska, and the freezing line will push well up into the upper Great Lakes region. If your car is covered in winter grime, this would be a great opportunity to head out and wash that salt off. While it's warming up for some, other areas are dealing with gusty winds and even winter weather advisories. Wind gusts could reach 40-50 mph in parts of the Dakotas, the Black Hills, and all the way down into West Texas. In higher elevations like northwest Montana and Wyoming, gusts might even top 80 MeF. If you know anyone in those areas, give them a heads up because that kind of wind can cause power outages and make travel dangerous. On the precipitation side, there's a clipper system moving through Manitoba and Western Ontario. Tonight, this system is bringing gusty winds as it transitions colder air from the north with slightly warmer air to the south. However, most of the significant snowfall will remain concentrated in southern Canada. For the US, regions like the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and Deep South will mainly see liquid rainfall by Friday night. Snow accumulation will be fairly light, with totals ranging from 1 to 4 inches in spots like the Rockies, Midwest, and Northeast. Looking ahead to the weekend, things start to get more interesting. On Saturday, a mix of rain and snow could develop in the northern Ohio Valley and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Cold air damming might even allow snowflakes to fall as far south as Asheville, North Carolina. By Sunday, the system lingers, but the big story becomes the arrival of the Siberian Express. This Arctic blast is no joke. It originates in Siberia and will push into southern Canada and eventually the central and southern US on Saturday. By Sunday, it will plunge all the way to the Gulf Coast. Temperature anomalies are expected to be 30-50 degrees below normal in some areas, with daytime highs struggling to reach 0 in parts of the northern plains. Wind chills will be brutal, dropping to 30 def or colder in places like Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota. Frostbite becomes a serious risk with conditions like these, so make sure you're bundled up if you need to be outside. Even states in the Deep South, like Texas, Louisiana, and Georgia, will feel the chill. By Monday, Martin Luther King Day, wind chills will be below freezing across much of the southern U.S., making for an incredibly cold holiday weekend. This cold air will also energize the jet stream, potentially setting the stage for a significant winter storm. However, there's still some uncertainty regarding its exact track and intensity. Let's take a look at the models. The European model shows snow as far south as Houston, Texas, and even parts of North Florida, with some areas like Orlando and Jacksonville potentially seeing ice. Meanwhile, the American GFS keeps the snow track further north, targeting the Midwest, Ohio Valley, interior Northeast, and the discrepancies between the models highlight just how complex this system is. But one thing is clear, the combination of cold air, active weather will make for an impactful week ahead. As we move into next week, both models agree on the cold air, but differ on where and how much snow will fall. The European model favors a southern track with a swath of snow extending from Texas to Florida, while the GFS shifts everything hundreds of miles to the north. We'll continue to monitor this closely and keep you updated as more data comes in. As of this morning, the weather across the country is still relatively quiet. There is some light snow moving through the Midwest, and it's expected to track into the Ohio Valley later today and into tonight. However, this snow isn't expected to bring much in terms of accumulation, just a dusting to maybe a couple of inches in some spots. Meanwhile, out west, there's a stream of moisture over the Pacific that's heading toward Texas. For now, this will only lead to increasing cloud cover in the region, though there could be a few showers or even thunderstorms popping up in Florida throughout the day. By Friday, things should start drying out in those areas. Let's focus on the Arctic blast that's about to hit. This weekend, we're expecting a major shift in the weather pattern as a strong dip in the jet stream allows frigid air from Canada to surge southward. By late Saturday into Sunday, temperatures will plummet across the northern plains and Midwest, with lows dropping well below zero. This is Arctic air at its finest, and it's going to be brutal. As we head into Monday and Tuesday, that cold air will expand, engulfing much of the country east of the Rocky Mountains. Some areas could see their coldest temperatures in years, with wind chills as low as 50 degrees below zero in places like North Dakota. This is dangerous cold. Frostbite can occur in just minutes. So it's something to take seriously. The cold air won't just stay up north, though. It's going to push all the way down to the Gulf Coast, bringing freezing temperatures to places that don't often experience this kind of chill. Even areas as far south as Texas and parts of Florida could see temperatures dipping below freezing. This deep freeze will set the stage for a second winter storm next week, as any moisture in the southern states could easily translate into snow, ice, or sleet. Speaking of winter storms, let's circle back to the first one. This weekend, the Ohio Valley and Northeast will see light to moderate snowfall. This will be a quick moving system. So while most areas will get 1 to 5 inches of snow, higher elevations in the Appalachians and parts of New England could see slightly higher totals. A few spots like Northwest Pennsylvania or parts of Ohio might get closer to 6 inches if heavier bands develop. Still, this isn't expected to be a blockbuster storm. It's more of a typical winter event. The second storm, however, has the potential to be more impactful, especially because it'll be hitting areas that aren't as prepared for winter weather. Early next week, as the Arctic air continues to settle in, there's a growing chance for snow, ice, or sleet in the southern plains, deep south, and even parts of the southeast. Places like Texas, Georgia, and even the Florida Panhandle could see wintry precipitation, which is rare for these regions. The big question is how much moisture will be available and how widespread the impacts will be. All right, now, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Some models are showing a significant winter storm with heavy snow and ice, while others suggest a lighter, more isolated event. My personal take, I think we'll see something in between, a localized winter weather event with lighter precipitation. It won't be as widespread or severe as the big storm we saw a couple of weeks ago, but it could still cause issues, especially in areas not used to dealing with snow and ice. As I move through the week, the cold air will slowly begin to shift eastward, allowing for a slight warm-up in the central and southern parts of the country by midweek. However, don't expect things to stay warm for long. There's already another Arctic blast showing up on the models for next weekend, which could bring another round of frigid temperatures to much of the country. January is shaping up to be one of the coldest we've seen in over a decade, and it's not over yet. For those of you in the Northeast and Ohio Valley, snowfall totals this weekend will range from 1 to 5 inches in most areas, with higher amounts in the mountains. The southern plains and Gulf Coast should stay tuned for updates early next week as wintry precipitation is becoming more likely. This includes the possibility of snow, ice, or sleet in places like Texas, Louisiana, and even northern Florida. These regions are not used to this kind of weather, so even a small amount of accumulation could cause disruptions. Overall, the next week is going to be a wild ride. From frigid temperatures to the potential for winter storms, there's a lot to keep an eye on. I'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as new information becomes available. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. That way you'll always be in the loop with the latest weather development. Thanks so much for watching today's forecast. Stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next update.